Welcome to this bonus episode of the Fancy Free podcast. You guys, if you have not heard Jen Hamilton's main episode, you've got to pop back and upload it to your feed right now because it is so wonderful and hilarious. But our conversation didn't stop there. We had another entire episode's worth of funny stories for you. So here is your bonus episode. And if you aren't following Jen Hamilton on TikTok, you are missing out. She's so hilarious, so authentic, so open, and she has some really interesting stories. Follow her on TikTok. She is _JEN_HAMILTON_. Enjoy today's bonus episode. Okay, tell me about what happened in middle school at the lake.
Oh, no. Okay, so, when you're in middle school, you want to seem cool all the time, right? And so I invited some friends to the lake with us because we went to the lake all the time. Fun fact, my dad is a national wakeboarding champion. He's a really cool old guy, right?
That's awesome.
He's basically just really good for his age. That's what he tells everybody.
Okay.
So we were at the lake all of the time. And so we were there with some of my friends and we went tubing. We had a couple different tubes, but there was one that didn't have a bottom to it. So it really just looked like a donut, right? I'm sitting in it like you would sit in a tube with your butt in the hole. And as we're going, I'm getting lots of water up my butt hole. And so I was giving myself a lake water enema. And as it's happening, I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is really bad. This is really bad. But I didn't know how to stop it. Right. So I just let it happen, unfortunately.
Then it had to unhappen later.
Oh, it had to unhappen almost immediately. We stopped and it had this beach area. And so I am waddling as fast as humanly possible to the bathroom, just pooping myself the whole way to the bathroom in front of all of my friends. It was so terrible. I really hope that none of them remember it. And then now they're going to remember it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I still remember that embarrassment.
You did a gigantic public service to all those other teenagers who were embarrassed to be alive. And on that very day, you made them feel like they weren't the only fool, right?
Exactly. That's my goal in life, right? Just to be more embarrassing than everybody else.
You're like, well, you are welcome.
Yes.
Tell me about learning about the birds and the bees at school.
I had a very protective mother, right? So I was very sheltered growing up, very, very sheltered. So we didn't really get to know much about anything that was happening in the world until my mom sat me down and talked about it, whatever she wanted me to know. So there was a day, in third grade or whatever, when they're about to tell all of the girls about the birds and the bees. And they send a letter home to your parents saying, hey, just to let you know, this is on the horizon. If you have any questions or whatever, feel free to contact the office. So my mom, my sweet mother, love her dearly, she went to the school. And that night, keep in mind, I was completely oblivious to any of this going on. So that night she said, oh, Jen, we are going to have just the best mother-daughter night, super fun, popcorn, ice cream, movie. We are just going to bond. It's going to be so great. Just you and me. Just you and me. I was like, oh, sweet, awesome. This doesn't happen all the time. So cool. She told me she had rented a movie. I thought she had rented it from, Blockbuster. No, she rented it from my school nurse.
Oh, no.
She rented the movie that we were going to have to watch the next day about changes. And so I sit down to watch what I assume is going to be a Disney movie and was very, very mistaken. And
you were slapped in the face.
Confusion. Yes. Because first of all, finding out all of this stuff feels like a betrayal anyways, this is real? People really do these things?
This is a world that I had no idea existed, and now I have to try to wrap my little 8-year-old mind around it.
Yes.
And I thought I knew everything. Yeah.
Yes.
This isn't fun.
No. And she wants to do what all good mothers want to do and talk about it. I'm like, no, I do not want to talk about this anymore. And so by the time that we watched it at school, I was already well versed in the changes and got to tell my friends that I'd already seen this movie, and I gave it 0 stars. It got a terrible Yelp review from me. It was, yeah.
I gave it 0 stars. So cute.
Yes.
When I was in 8th grade, or maybe 7th, I was in a small private Christian middle school, only for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All the other years I went to public. Anyway, so we took sex ed a little bit later than would have been. So here I am, a 7th grader, embarrassed to be alive. And who do they get to come in and teach the group of girls sex ed but my mother?
No.
And she's not teaching us just about vaginas and vulvas and periods and stuff. She's drawing a picture of an erection on the chalkboard.
No.
And here I am, the analytical person that I am. Excuse me, if her vagina is going straight up and down and that erection is going like perpendicular to that, I just don't understand how that works. And my mom's like,
work. Yeah,
it works. Believe me. And I was like, okay, but it doesn't seem like it should.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and she doesn't even remember that. I'm like, really, Mom? Because that's like one of my major memories from middle school.
I feel for you. That sounds pretty mortifying.
But my mom's awesome, right? And she's super sweet and she's funny. So the other kids were like, oh, your mom's so great. So at least there was that.
Yeah. At least the other kids weren't like mortified for you that your mom
yes, exactly.
was having to teach
your
that.
Mom, you're going to die. No, they were just like, oh, she was great, But to me, having my mom do that, terrible.
So was your mom a physician or like
no, my
medical?
mom was not. No, she didn't. She had no degree.
How did she get picked for this?
I have no idea. She was on
the
board.
Seemed really well versed.
The school board.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's literally how things used to happen in the medical community. My dad's a neurosurgeon. So of course my mom should know how to teach sexual, biology and anatomy. It's so ridiculous.
Of course. She's married to a neurosurgeon. That qualifies her beyond even necessity.
And then, later that night she'll go do a brain surgery. So ridiculous.
Perfect. Yes, because she's married to one.
Yep. She actually now does have a degree in psychology, and she is a good teacher. She's just by nature a really good teacher. But I was like, wait, you're going to do what? Okay. So crazy. This episode is brought to you by Shelfie Shop. Shelfies are women's loungewear made out of luxurious, soft, cozy fabric. Every outfit has the perfect weight, built-in shelf bra for some coverage without adding bulk, a little bit of support, and separation. Just because we're hanging out at home or want to be comfy doesn't mean we don't want to be cute, right? That way you can rip off the bra at the end of the day, throw on your Shelfies, and should the doorbell ring or your kids bring friends home, you are covered. You look adorable, you feel wonderful, and you could even run to the store if you need to, and nobody would know that you're in public in your pajamas. Shelfies are manufactured in small, handmade, limited edition batches. Head to shelfieshop.com today to grab yours before they're all gone. That's SHELFIESHOPPE.com. Use the coupon code FANCYFREE. You will get free shipping no matter what you order. Tell me what your husband calls you.
He calls me a fainting goat. You ever seen these videos of these poor goats that get scared and just fall over? Yeah. We've been with each other for almost 10 years now. And so he's been with me enough to know my quirks and antics. And part of being married to me is knowing that I'm going to pass out. It's just going to happen. So I told you that I passed out watching that poor little baby get its blood drawn.
Yes.
That started almost like a traumatic thing for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even watch somebody get their blood drawn. How am I going to be a nurse? So in nursing school, I would stay up late and watch YouTube videos of people getting blood drawn just so I would be okay.
You're so hardcore. And what a good idea.
So hardcore. Then working in the ER, obviously, I got desensitized that way. Somebody comes in with their guts hanging out. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm okay with seeing it on other people.
I'm impressed that you were able to go from fainting, having a baby's blood drawn, to guts hanging out. I'm good to go. I'm just going to start this urinary catheter. No problem.
Oh, yeah. I've had plenty of people tell me, oh, I can't be a nurse because I can't stand the sight of blood. I was like, me neither, girlfriend. So, I mean, it took a lot. It took a lot.
And there is a lot of blood in labor and delivery, not just in the ER.
Yes. And I'll tell you one other thing that happened in nursing school that I'm just now remembering. I did a TikTok about this, but I told you I was sheltered, okay? So the first time that I ever saw a man penis was in nursing school. Okay.
Oh, really?
So I had never seen one before. And the first one that I ever saw was on this younger guy. He was in his 20s and he was getting ready for surgery or something. And I had to put in a Foley catheter. Okay.
Man.
This poor guy was totally with it. He was not unconscious yet. Or
Oh,
anything,
no.
I
was thinking, well, at least he's under anesthesia. Nope. No such luck.
No. So, in nursing school, you can't do anything unless someone's right there with you. So I had the nurse that I was with. And if you've ever seen a Foley catheter get put in or whatever, you have to hold the penis like a gear shift, right? So you've got your non-dominant hand giving it a pretty good squeeze, right?
Yes.
So I get to the point where I'm holding it like that and I have the catheter in my other hand. We're ready to do it, right? This nurse gets a phone call and she says to me, hold it right there.
What?
And of course, being the very obedient nursing student that I was like,
you held it right there.
Okay. I did. I held it for the entirety of her length of being gone. And this poor man, I'm trying to make small talk, which is probably a really bad choice of words. I am talking about the weather at that point seems like really way too casual. And I'm sweating. Like I have butt sweat that's happening. And I start to feel faint, right? Like I told you, I just faint. So I'm getting tunnel vision and stuff. Yeah. And so I reach behind me with my foot because I'm sterile, right? I can't use my hands. So I reach behind me with my foot to grab a stool and I sit down while holding this man's penis. And the nurse comes back in and she takes one look at me, seated, holding the penis still, busts out laughing and leaves again to go tell all of her friends. She told all of her friends, guess what this nursing student is doing right now? She is holding on to that penis for dear life. Oh, gosh. I was like, you told me to hold it. You told me to hold it.
I obey orders. This is my position in life.
I should get extra points today for doing exactly what you told me to do. Oh. But yeah, that was my first penis experience ever. And I'm sure most everyone else has a way better experience their first time seeing one.
Okay, so my stomach, thank you for the ab workout.
You're so welcome.
Oh, I've got questions though. So do you have a dad? Oh, you said you had a dad. He's a wakeboarding champion.
Yes.
So he was just really modest in a home?
I've never, ever seen my dad's Hangle Dangle, ever. And nor do I want to.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always fully clothed. I told you, we were really modest in my home. And I didn't have any brothers. I just have one sister. Okay. And so, I mean, there it was. First time right there.
Hangle Dangle. That's my new favorite name for
Hangle
a penis.
Dangle. Yeah.
When I was growing up, my mom called it a doololly.
A doololly?
I
love it.
Yep.
I think it's so funny to hear everybody's different names for stuff. And it makes sense to them.
Yes. And a vagina was a tutu. Imagine my horror.
Tutu. Ours was a cuckoo. It makes me kind of cringe to hear it now just because it's like, oh, what a weird word to call that. I guess all of them are weird.
That happened to you hitting your funny bone. You passed out. That happened to me in middle school. Yeah. And I spilt chocolate milk all over myself. The nurse called my mom and my mom was like, oh, she's fine. And I was like, it was the first time it ever happened to me. I passed out and you're not going to come get me from school? Like, what do I have to do?
It seems like that should do it, right? Like being unconscious seems like you should get out of school free pass.
Yep, totally. At least to get a change of clothes, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I feel bad for my kids though, because like being a nurse, like you don't really get much sympathy.
The word sick, as I say in air quotes, like when we say this patient is sick in a hospital, we mean might have to go to the ICU or might die. We don't mean like,
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
It is a totally
We're not talking sniffles.
Perspective. Totally. Yeah. So yeah, our kids are kind of screwed that way, aren't they? Well, I learned very quickly that I cannot be objective when it comes to my own children. Are you like that too?
Oh, so true.
It's such a disappointment.
The first time that my son ever threw up, he was like, I don't know, 2. And at that point I had been an ER nurse for a few years, and he threw up on like the hardwood floor. And I called my mom in tears and I was like, what do I do? And she's like, just hold him, love on him. He'll be all right. I was like, no, how do I clean it up? And she's like, you are an ER nurse and you are calling me not sure how to clean up throw up. Like, I mean, but you lose all of your medical sensibilities about you whenever you.
And it's such an unexpected mess. The vomiting of toddlers is a real problem in households, isn't it? We used to do the vomiting chair. I would put something waterproof down over the chair, and then I would put a huge sheet over that and then a huge quilt over that, and I would make my kids confine themselves to the chair, and then I'd have a little stack of change out, and then it would just get washed when it needed to. Because how do you contain that? They don't know when they're going to do it. They can't go in a bucket. It's so terrible.
Oh yeah, they give you a funny look for about a quarter of a second before it happens, and that is not enough time to do anything.
Yeah, they say something like, "My mouth feels weird," and next thing you know, the whole bathroom floor is covered in vomit. You're like, "Oh my gosh!"
You're like, now my hands are going to feel weird from cleaning all this up.
Yeah.
This is so gross.
My brain feels weird. I don't know what to do. I'm leaving. I'm running away from home. Goodbye.
Exactly.
Oh, those were such great stories. Thank you so much for sharing those.
You are so welcome.
What have you been loving lately that you think the listeners might love too?
Mine is really probably strange, but I got Invisalign recently. Changed my life. Holy moly. Like I've had, yes. So I got braces in middle school, but whenever you're in middle school, retainers are dumb, Like nobody
They're
wants
cool
to wear
for a day
retainer.
and then you're like, ugh, can't be bothered.
Yeah, seriously. So I just stopped wearing it. And then as an adult, I'm like, you stupid idiot. Why did you not wear your retainer? Because now, your teeth are janky. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to do a consultation. I went to this place called Grins that's like a national chain. Went there and like started the process same day. And my teeth are like completely straight. And I only got them like 3 months ago. So I was like, how did I leave this off for so long? I love Invisalign. So great. And this is a great time to get it too, because everybody's wearing a mask anyways.
Okay. Jen is so much fun. You guys, I'll have her on again as soon as I can. Hopefully she saved some stories for us. I just love her. Make sure that you visit Shelfie Shop and use the coupon code FANCYFREE for free shipping. That's SHELFIESHOPPE.com. That is my line of women's loungewear that I designed and had manufactured. And cheers to all of you who are already out there wearing your Shelfies. Here's to incognito public pajama wearing if you so dare. Make sure you subscribe to the show so that new episodes pop into your feed each week. Have a wonderful week. And remember, no one is as fancy as they look.